She was the first and only female among the altar servants. Very smart and promising, he said while he discussed with the CWO women leader. I thought she could be assisted to something and at the same time set up as an example for girls her age in the parish who roamed without confidence. Truly she was hard-working, the woman acknowledges. Have you contacted her home? She asked. No one seemed to know her more, he answers. She shakes her head in disapproval. That's not right. The priest looks up at her saying, how many parishioners who prove indulgent to work in the house of God do we bother that far, especially given how she started and what she explained about her home? Well, like you said, working in God's house is very much a voluntary issue, since we have not noticed any theft or destruction and she had chosen to live without notice. Unless you fear she might be in some trouble at home, filling her void is just an announcement away. The priest heaves a sigh. Theft and subtlety has not been her description, he said. But to think of it, could she have ran away simply because she broke a food flask? The woman releases a breath and says, well, one will not easily describe what besieges the youths of these days, but Father, I think you should take a calm concerning her. She might still come. Perhaps the issues of retaining royalty after losing her family has become a stronger drama. At this the priest nods. Perhaps yes. 5 months later, rumors of her being spotted in church begins to get to the priest. He does everything to witness one of such occasion but fails. Maybe she is avoiding me, he says to a brother. But why will she, Father? Asked the brother. I think she looks a needy. The priest becomes curious. How do you mean? He asked. She avoids even me, the altar servant, and keeps alone to disappear before the end of Mass, he answers. The priest becomes confused and thinks to himself, what could she be hiding? It will be out of place if I ask them to apprehend her till after Mass. I have to see her myself. He suddenly realizes there were people before him and says, well, God knows best. We've done what we could. Not even one of my calls has she taken all these while. May the good Lord protect her, and they all respond Amen. One Sunday in ordinary time of the church calendar, the priest heats up a sermon on the return of the prodigal son, and just in the height of the tension he recognizes her from afar but keeps his grip to composure. Suspecting that she would soon vanish as usual, he points to her direction and says, like the prodigal son in the Bible, if you still value Christ in your life, then do not hold that sinful guilt any longer. Come back and you will be forgiven. Immediately she wears the shock on her face, knowing she had been discovered. It took till the evening of the third day before she reappears during confession, and after the usual opening statements, she says, I took advantage of the deep sleep of a hypnotized, tired and sick man and raped him. The flaring echo of the words bursts through his eardrums and landed what seemed a breathing grenade in his heart while he stares bewildered as she continues. It got me pregnant and I've not been able to tell him. I have told countless lies and am at present hiding from many people because of the debts I owe them. Father, for these and the sins that I don't remember, I am truly sorry.